I think the first thing to keep in mind when looking at this excerpt from Hobbes, which is an excerpt from his work called The Leviathan, is that it's essentially a work of political philosophy. It's trying to understand the nature of government and nature of the state. And we start out here in our excerpt in chapter 13, where Hobbes, this is a rather notorious chapter because Hobbes is describing what human beings are like in the state of nature. And by the state of nature, he means a state in which there is no civil authority, there's no government, there's no legal system, there are no human-made laws, there are no judges or policemen. There's just human beings living in their natural state. What is that actually like? That is, what is human life like, according to him, in that state? And what's the place of morality in that state? And the short answer is that life is hell in that state. As he says, a war of everyone against everyone else. The life of man, solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Because we're basically animals. And we naturally do that which we think will further our own selfish happiness. That's just the way we are. We're much like the guy who finds the ring of invisibility in Glaucon's story in The Republic, that we're all just naturally sort of made to do whatever we need to do or to pursue whatever it is that will satisfy our own selfish desires. This picture that he paints is rather grim, but this war of everyone against everyone else. But what he's interested in is how we come out of it. Now, in this state, he believes that there is no morality. That is that, as he says, this is on page 71, bottom of the second column, to this war of every man against every man, this also is a result that nothing can be unjust. That is, there's no such thing as justice or injustice. He says the notions of right and wrong, justice and injustice have there no place. Where there is no common power, there is no law. Where no law, no injustice. So if there's no civil authority, no state, no government, there can be no law. And if there's no law, then there's no injustice, because it's law itself which determines justice and injustice. Force and fraud are in war the two cardinal virtues. Justice and injustice are none of the faculties, neither of the body nor mind. So justice and injustice, good and evil, right and wrong, are not part of the natural equipment of human beings. It's something that they only applies to them once they've actually created a civil authority, the Leviathan, the state. If they were, they might be a man that were alone in the world, I believe, as well as his senses and passions. They are qualities that relate to men in society, not in solitude. It is consequent also to the same condition that there be no property, no ownership, no mine and thine distinct, but only that to be every man's that he can get, and for so long as he can keep it. And thus much for the ill condition which man by mere nature is actually placed in. Sorry for the typo there, though with the possibility to come out of it consisting partly in the passions, partly in his reason. So basically, the natural state of human beings is one of not immorality, but amorality. It's a non-moral state. We're just animals, basically, very smart ones. But so the origin of morality has to come from the origin of the state. And why do human beings create government, create the state? Well, for selfish reasons, as he says, because they realize that although they're absolutely free to do whatever they want in the state of nature, that this is no great deal because everyone else is free too. So the life that they lead is not good, even though they're totally free, because